Jesus and Peter, you cannot but begin to wonder. The Gospel of Matthew chapter 16. You know, as you read from verse 21 to 22 thereabout. What did Peter, when Jesus met Peter, or Peter called Jesus aside and said, Jesus, he was advising him, Jesus, keep quiet, don't allow people to hear you. You know you are the Messiah, now how will you allow them to know that you die? Keep quiet, it will not happen to you, you know that. Jesus said, get behind me, Satan. What is Jesus doing here? Somebody that advised you, you are calling the person a Satan. Why did Jesus do this? Ordinarily, if you look at it, you may feel somehow. But let me tell you, you must be very careful in accepting advice. It's not every advice that is good for you. Amen and amen. Amen. Why is it that you don't accept every advice that people give you? Because they don't know much about you. They don't know what you are up to. They don't understand your plan. They are only looking at it from their own angle, and the way they see it is different from the way you see it, and the way it should actually be. There is nothing wrong in meeting people for advice. It's very good, because my people say na only one person now stay think now go sleep with your papa wife. And if you say discuss with other people, oh boy, no try am. Respect yourself. We go shout. But because you just like to sit alone and decide, you commit the act. And after that, say, hey, but nobody told me. Did you tell anybody? You see, Jesus has demonstrated this important message to us this morning. It's not every advice you take, because there are some advice that are meant to destroy you. There are some advice that are meant to scatter your home. There are advice that are meant to scatter your future. It's not everybody that smiles with you that loves you. We can open it too. The fact I open my teeth, it does not mean I'm laughing with you. Laugh for where? And that's what the mistake a lot of some people make. There are some ladies, especially women, they are good at it. It's a part of some of them, it's a part of them. Once they see you, they just smile. Don't be tempted to think that smile means they like you. If you go, they will rubbish you. They will insult you, say, look at this idiot, because I'm smiling with you. So smile is a kind of courtesy. And ladies learn that in the Lord, because with smile, if somebody is coming with anything, with little smile, you calm the person down. It means you are coming with wahala, I am coming with peace. So you see, you must not seek advice from everybody, because not everybody can give you advice. There are people that will even advise you based on their own village thinking. There are people that will give you advice based on their village people's ideology. There are people that will give you advice based on their own idea and myopism. They are very myopic. So it is very important that you meet people that have wisdom, people that are operating in God to advise you. Even like that, people may give you 100 advice. Try to do what? To tear them one by one. Pick the one that is okay and throw the rest into river Niger. But some of you, once people just give you advice, you take it like that. Hey, me? No. See, women are not very difficult people. Women, they don't like men that use a soft hand. Women like iron hand. If my wife cannot try me now, if she try me, that's the day she will pack. I lie. Most of the men that come and be bragging outside, they are like water if they enter the house. They are very, very gentle, very humble, because the woman atawewe. But the same man will tell you, my wife cannot try it. If she try it, I will deal with her. If she try it, I will do this. You too, you carry yourself, carry your chest, all your muscle. Get home and begin to command your wife as per army commander. And if it did not work, the next thing is fight. You see, your friend that will tell you, my wife cannot try it, are you sure? He will take more than such rubbish your wife is doing to you. There was this man that had interest in this woman. When the friend is not around, he will try to toast the woman, and the woman will say no. And one day, what did he do? He decided, the friend came to him. Imagine this woman. He said, no, guy, no, you have been tolerating that woman too much now. No. I know woman cannot, my wife cannot try that rubbish with me. And this one will go home and be beating the wife, be dealing with the wife. Not knowing that that guy has ulterior motive. What did he want him to do? To beat the woman so that the woman will go home and he will capture. And one day, he came again. Said, no. See, chase her away. What is it? It's better you are alone than manage this kind of woman. The guy said, yes, you are right. It's true. Let me have my peace. He said, at least if you send her away, you can now have freedom. You become a bachelor. Whatever you want to do, you can do it. This is a man's world. And the friend also carrying his big chest sent the woman away. Before he will know, one day he saw the woman pregnant. Where belle come from? From somewhere. And after due investigation, discovered that the friend actually impregnated his ex-wife. And he was so angry, carried knife, and people held him. Say, imagine, this my friend made me to send my wife away. And they asked him, if your friend asks you to dip your hand inside fire, will you dip your hand inside fire? He said no. He was saying, he was beating the girl, and the girl left. And for me, I just felt this girl, that girl was too good to just allow to waste like that. What have I done wrong? After all, I say you don't like her. Now me pursue her from your house. He said, but advice me say, who are you and who? You see? So why he was happy that the friend was advising him, he didn't know that the friend was actually planning to carry that woman. Don't be surprised, that person telling you, condemning your wife to you, he get high. As per ego. He's patiently waiting. When it's time, it will carry. The person advising you to take second step, ask the person to do it first. The people of God say, when you have no mind of your own, people will rubbish you. You see, there are people that will advise you genuinely, and there are people that will advise you to destroy you. And that's why when people advise you, you analyze the advice and ask yourself, is it okay? When you fail to ask, when the consequence comes, that person will not share it with you, because you are supposed to know what is good from what is bad. If I tell you 20 things, are you supposed to act with all of them? Don't you have sense? Go and think by yourself. So when you be careful when you run to people for advice, because the person you are running to, first look at it. Has the person been able to advise himself? No. Somebody that is out of his own marriage or her marriage, you want to go and advise the person how to keep your own marriage. If he is, why not keep his own? Although there are people that left their marriage not because they don't advise themselves, but just because the situation is beyond what they can bear. And if the life of somebody is at risk, even me, I will not tell you to stay in the marriage, and I will not tell you leave. If you like, leave. If you like, you stay. If the man kill you, come and go in peace. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. So they give me a bottle of wine. They can go with conscience. Where would that go? All of us go meet there, but go ahead of us. Then people are going to say, but then, oftentimes you don't go to people to seek advice unless you are very sure of them. Even the person you are sure of, be careful, because the devil can also use the person against you. You know that. You see, in the book of First Kings chapter 12, I read from verse 1. Rehoboam went to Shechem, where all Israel had come to proclaim him king. They said to Rehoboam, your father put on us a heavy yoke. If you now lighten the hard service and the heavy yoke your father imposed on us, we will serve you. Come, then this Rehoboam now giving this response. Come back to me in 3 days. He answered them. When the people had departed, verse 6, King Rehoboam consulted the elders who had been his father's service while he was alive and asked, "What answer do you advise me to give to these people?" The elders now replied, this is the elders now talking. They replied, "If today you will be the servant of these people and submit to them, giving them a favorable answer, they will be your servants forever." But verse 8, but he ignored the advice the elders had given him and consulted the young men who he had grown up with, or who had grown up with him and were in his service. He said to them, that's verse 9, "What answer do you advise me to give to these people who have asked me to lighten the yoke my father imposed on them?" Verse 10, the young men who had grown up with him replied, "This is what you must say to these people who have asked you to lighten the yoke your father put on them. Say to them, my little finger is thicker than my father's body." Imagine that kind of insult. "Whereas my father puts a heavy yoke on you, I will make it heavier. My father beat you with whips, but I will beat you with scorpions." Now, if somebody should tell you that, what will be your reaction? Will you begin to clap for the person? And from that moment, they said to your tent, "Oh Israel." That led to the separation. So the 2 tribes were left with Rehoboam. The other 10 tribes follow Jeroboam. You see, the elders advised him, "Calm down, don't worry. Tell them to relax. You are going to change the situation." And he went to his friends. They said, "Don't mind those idiots, those fools." My father said, "Wetin old man stay for ground and see. If pikin climb 20-story building, you no go see." The others saw something. They perceived trouble. They perceived threat. And they told him, "Take it gently with them. Tell them you are going to change the situation." Now, those men, they were at the father's service, right? Which means they were the father's advisors. Why is Nigeria today, as it is today, no advisors to these rulers? They are not leaders, they are rulers. Advisor. They only carry people that they will set to politically, not people that will advise them well. The people of God say, and that's why things are not going well. You don't give people that cannot advise you well, people that cannot think well, they should come and advise you. People that during campaign will be falling and rising, you want them to advise you. Somebody during campaign will remove agbada and be fighting with the other person. Is that person mature? So it tells you, look at people you go and meet for advice. Have they finished advising themselves? So those they keep around them as advisors are nothing but sycophants. You know, we call them presidential rats. You know, rats, they always where to get food. That's how some of them are. I'm not saying president, or I say presidential rats. I'm not saying president in Nigeria. Oh yes. The people of God, see, it's very important that we think like Obasanjo sometimes. Obasanjo, you know, the advisor say, "Hey, we used to advise, you will not take our advice." Say, "Look, I have the right to accept your advice. I have the right not to accept your advice. I will pay you. Your advice don't advise, so I will pay you. But then if you won't fail to advise, I will still sack you." So it's better you advise me and I did not take your advice. See, it's not every advice people give you, you take. What led to a painful end for Ahab? His wife Jezebel told him, say, "Don't worry, go and relax. I will collect that land for you." Madam, how you want one? He wasn't not supposed to ask. The wife advised him to relax and he relaxed. The wife did evil and he kept quiet. Did the wife suffer it alone? He also suffered it. Dear brothers and sisters in the Lord, in the Acts of Apostles chapter 5, there was an advice from Sapphira to Ananias. Ananias, this money is too big. Let us remove some. Right? Was it not an advice? Did she hold the man? If you don't reduce, I'll kill you. No. It was an advice. And the man instead of him to stand and say, "No, I will not tempt my God. What did he do? He said, "Hi, babe, you are right." He removed some parts. Did the woman die alone? They both died. When you don't have somebody that will advise you well, you will collapse. You will die before your time. It's very, very important that you seek advice. If you have a wife that cannot advise you, there is a problem. If you have a husband that cannot advise you, there is a problem. But even when your husband advises you, analyze it well. If your wife advises you, analyze it well. Because she may be acting out of emotion. Hey, this man has done to go and slap him. I take by your side. Don't go. If he read, she will turn back. People of God, is saying it's very necessary for us to learn from Jesus. And that's why I say Jesus is a mentor. Jesus knows the right thing. He's always enlightened. When you live by wisdom, you don't make unnecessary mistakes. So when people advise you, be careful the one you accept. It's not everything people tell you that is good for you. You see, he said to Jesus, he said, no, Jesus, don't say that. It's not that Peter meant any harm. But Peter was also looking at his own interest. Because since Jesus died now, all those prestige they used to give them. They used to go to Mary Magdalene and Martha. They used to, Mary Magdalene and Martha. No, Martha and Mary, sorry. Martha and Mary and Lazarus, they used to go there. They give them better food. Maybe they put chicken, all those things. So you will if Jesus died now, now go and be eating those chicken again. And as they were following Jesus, the prestige, the respect. So that was his own point of view. Jesus, don't die, because if you die now, we'll lose all those things. Please remain. But was that the mission of Jesus? Nobody knows your mission. Nobody knows what you are up to. Nobody understands your plan. Sometimes when you ask people, it's not because you take whatever they tell you. It's because you need to get the idea of other persons and then create your own path out of those ideas. They say you follow this road. Sometimes you ask yourself, if I follow this road, what if this person come and attack me? They say follow this road by 12 o'clock. Okay, I'll make it in the evening by 6 o'clock. So dear brothers and sisters in the Lord, be careful those you meet for advice. Because the same person advising you may be the person preparing for your downfall. Be very careful. Study the life of people before you meet. Not everybody you see, every time they can hurry will advise you. For what now? Those that have not advised themselves. Somebody that cannot keep his own family, they are going to be the person to advise you how to keep your family. It's possible the person may say something that is beneficial to you. Discuss with a lot of persons, but take only a few points from whatever they tell you, because they don't know your situation. They don't understand what you are passing through. They don't know what is to come. And some of them, because of their personal benefits, because they are close to you, because they don't want to lose your friendship, they will not tell you. They will just make you happy. Like Rehoboam, you see what happened to him? The kingdom divided. What the grandfather was able to keep, the father was able to keep. Rehoboam destroyed it. The elder said, no, do this. He felt they were old men. Their mouth was smelling. He met the young people. And the young people said, don't mind those old people. If they come, tell them, my father used common cane, I will use koboko. 12 mouths. And the people said, okay, since you chose to deal with us, we'll also deal with you. Bye-bye. Be on your own. And you see, that's the danger of when you seek advice from the wrong people. And that's why you need wisdom to discern people that come around you. Know those that come to eat from you. Give them food. Food is their problem. Know those that come close to you because they want to identify with you based on what they will gain. Don't worry. Leave them, but know who they are. And then know those that come into your life genuinely to be a blessing to you. You know, like anybody you tell about your husband maltreating you will not also tell you, madam, see where you have gone wrong. Wrong from that person. Because will you always be right? There are moments you are wrong. Anybody who will look at you eyeball to eyeball, my friend, keep quiet. Now you misbehave. Why you no give am food? That is your friend. Be careful. Not everybody that come around you is your friend. Some of them are what we call frenemies. Free enemy. Join together. Frenemy. Be very careful. Take advice, but select from them, because not all advice will be to your favor.